Good day, everyone. Our topic for today's video is all about risk, and I'm going to discuss to you about the classifications of it and its related topics.
What is risk? Risk is the chance or probability that a person will be harmed or experience an adverse health effect if exposed to a hazard. It involves uncertainty about the effects or implications of an activity with respect to something that humans value, such as health, well-being, wealth, property, or the environment. Differences between peril and hazard in risk. A peril is a potential adverse event or factor that can cause a loss, such as the possibility of a fire that could engulf a house. However, a hazard is a factor or activity that may cause a loss. Essentially, it may be any action, condition, habit, circumstance, or situation which makes a peril more likely to occur or makes it worse. Types of hazards and its examples. The three classification of hazards includes physical hazard, moral hazard, and moral hazard. Physical hazards are actions, behaviors, or conditions that cause or contribute to peril. Smoking is considered a physical hazard because it increases the chances of a fire occurring. Moral hazards are wrongful behavior or conduct and careless or reckless attitudes that can cause peril. Example of moral hazard is fraudulent claims, such as auto accident victims who invent or exaggerate their injuries. Moral hazard is considered as one's indifference to loss, unintentional risk, or increased carelessness due to the presence of insurance. For instance, suppose a person pays insurance to their new phone. Moral hazard arises when the model of their phone becomes outdated, and they no longer care about it because their insurance would allow them to get a new one. Classifications of risk. Objective and subjective risks. Objective risk is the relative variation of actual loss from expected loss. As the number of exposure units under observation increases, objective risk declines. Subjective risk is what an individual perceives to be a possible unwanted event. It may alter the behavior of the risk taker if it is an undesirable risk. Financial and non-financial risks. Financial risk exists wherein the outcome can be measured in monetary terms. In the case of material damage to property, it can be theft of property or lost business profit following a fire. Non-financial risk arises when there are certain circumstances where it cannot be measured financially, or it is not possible to be measured in terms of money. Pure and speculative risk. Pure risk refers to risks that are beyond human control and result in a loss or no loss with no possibility of financial gain. Fires, floods, and other natural disasters are examples of it. Pure risk, also referred to as absolute risk, which is usually divided into three categories: the personal pure risks, property pure risks, and liability pure risks. Personal pure risk are risks affecting an individual that result in a loss or reduction of personal assets. Property pure risk can incur both direct and indirect losses. Liability pure risks are risks arising from litigation against a person or organization. Speculative risks are risks that are taken on voluntarily and can result in either a profit or a loss. Static and dynamic risks. Static risk refers to those losses that can take place even though there were no changes in the overall economy. Dynamic risks are risks brought about by changes in the economy. Changes in price level, income, tastes of consumers, technology can bring about financial losses to members of the economy. And lastly, fundamental and particular risks. Fundamental risks are risks that affects entire societies or a large population within a society. Natural disasters, inflation, and war are examples of it. Particular risk, in contrast to fundamental risk, refers to risks that affect an individual, such as fire that destroys a family home. Several reasons why liability risks are of great relevance. Initially, the main reasons why liability risks are of immense relevance is because there is no upper limit on the amount of the loss. Any sum can be sued against you. Second, you can afford to lose your current financial assets, but you can never afford to lose your future income and assets, no matter how painful the experience is. And lastly, legal defense expenditures can be prohibitively expensive. If you are sued and do not have liability insurance, the cost of engaging an attorney to defend and represent you in court can be prohibitively expensive.
That's all for today. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day and keep safe.